it was because Obama didn't lay down the law and say, we're going to attack Syria in such and such a time frame, we may attack Iran, everything's on the table. This sort of bellicose rhetoric that the Israelis like. I assume that Obama probably wasn't using that kind of rhetoric because, in fact, it does seem that the Obama administration, guided by the realists more than the neocons, is taking a more cautious approach to running its empire than has been done in the past. And so I think the Israelis are really unhappy that they're not getting their chance to work towards a war on Iran, which was always the end game of their plan to take out 7 countries in 5 years, which was what 9/11 was all about, according to testimony from General Wesley Clark. So, no, I don't think Israel at this point does have the power to force the U.S. to go to war if the U.S. is reluctant to, and we have seen that the U.S. is indeed reluctant. We don't really know about Obama himself, but it's clear that the American people do not want war. They pressured Congress. The American Congress was not going to go to war just because AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, was telling it to, because every other significant group in America, including the American people, is against war. So, yeah, I hope that this is the beginning of a movement of the U.S. out of Israel's orbit and the beginning of an era in which the U.S. would gradually slow down or gradually back off from its empire in a relatively peaceful way. But I think we're, of course, going to have to keep our fingers crossed. Well, it looks like Israel and Saudi Arabia are merging into a new country that may end up being called Saudi Israelia. It appears that these two crime families, the Ibn Saud crime family and the Rothschild crime family and their associates, which own these these countries that are so backwards, and they're both nations that have they're bellicose. They're run by groups that are extremely intolerant of other groups. The Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia are intolerant of other Muslims and of everyone else. And, of course, the Zionists are running a country that's basically a Jewish superiority apartheid state. And so it kind of seems, in a sense, not as strange as many people think that the Saudis and the Israelis are teaming up now in various works, including war on Syria, including supporting the coup d'etat in Egypt. And perhaps now the Israelis are going to try to get the Saudis to back them in going towards a war with Iran. However, I don't think if the Israelis and Saudis try to start a big war on their own that they're going to be very happy with the results. And I would just hope that they wouldn't be able to drag the U.S. into such a war. And it looks like from recent trends that the U.S. is not at all interested in joining such a war. So I think the Israelis may, God willing, end up unable to pursue their plans for a major Middle East war.